My name is Tarrow Black Ervin, and this is Franklin Boulevard Media. Yes, I'm from Kings Mountain, North Carolina. For me, I was taking a shower and, washing and everything, and I felt a lump. And at first I thought it was like a mosquito bite because it was during the summer months, and we had been out somewhere, and I thought it was a mosquito bite. So I didn't think anything of it, and after I had stayed there for a couple of days, I said, well, I better just get it checked out. I was working at a doctor's office, and I asked one of the providers to look at it for me. And she said, well, this doesn't look like anything serious. She said, but just get it checked out just to make sure. So I went in and had my mammogram, and it came back that it was, she called me and told me it looked suspicious. From that point on, everything was like a whirlwind. Everything started moving so fast. I was sent to a surgeon. She did a biopsy. From there, like I think I heard somebody say the wait time was more like 7 days. She said, I don't want you to call. She said, I don't want to call you with the results. I want you to come in. This is before I left after my biopsy. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So I set an appointment to come back. Went back. And yeah, like I said, everything was just moving so fast. From when she told me that it was cancer, and some other stuff that she was saying. To be perfectly honest, I really didn't hear a lot that she was saying after she said the word cancer, because it just went from there. But she did set me up to see a surgeon. My oncologist. I got set up with him. Very nice oncologist. His name is Mr. William Charles. He's with Novot now. He told me I would have to have chemotherapy and radiation because I was diagnosed with one of the more aggressive breast cancers called triple negative. Like I said, everything was just like a whirlwind. On one of my visits to the oncologist, he was asking me, several questions and everything, and I was answering the best I could. And he told me, he said, we're just going to stop the visit right now. And he told me, he said, I want you to take some time to yourself. Go out and hang out with your girls, take a vacation, hang out with your family. He said, because you're going to have to go through something the hardest part of your life right here. He said, and you're going to have your mind ready because you can't go into this weak-minded. He said chemotherapy is already rough on people, but you have to have a strong mind and a strong will to be able to get through it. He said, I'm not going to call you and ask you when you want to get started. I'm going to let you call me and let me know when you're ready. And I was like, okay, because that's what you want me to do, because I don't know. He thought I didn't like him, but it wasn't a fact of me not liking him. It was the point of us having to meet under those circumstances, because like I said before, he was really nice, really caring. But I'm like me, and I even was questioning God. Out of all my friends, out of all my family, you gonna choose me to have to, But a lot of prayer and a great support system. I would say, pray about it. When you speak to your provider or your surgeon or your oncologist or whatever, let them know what you need. Let them know, what type of assistance you need and what kind of, help. Because they're there. It's a lot of people. We have my family, we actually started a foundation. And with that foundation, we do a pink luncheon, in October. And we give those funds, or we, give them to certain, people or whatever, or certain facilities and stuff, and donate, to try to help out, to ease the load a little bit. Another thing is, you can't feel sorry for yourself. I know a lot of people would like to just sit down and be like, well, I got cancer, and that's just, that's the end of my story. But you got to want to, fight. And I guess that's where it says fight like a girl, because you really have to fight. And I tell you now, even thinking about it now, back then, it still gives me chills, because that's something I wouldn't want anybody to have to go through. Nobody should have to go through that, especially the chemo and radiation part. You just have to be really strong to be able to get through that. I have a good friend now. We got diagnosed around the same time, and we came out of it, but hers metastasized. So now she's going through, and sometimes I feel guilty because she's having to go through so much more than what I did. But then I look at her, and she has such a strong will, and she doesn't complain, and she's like, I just give it to God. To be honest, she's one of the strongest women I know, because she's really, really fighting this thing, from brain tumors to anything else, And and when I first started, she the one to let me know, you're going to have to give it to him. Just pray about it and just give it to him, and just, you'll be all right. But my story, like I said, I went and had my surgery, and I had everything done. I was scheduled to have a total mastectomy. But the night before I went, my husband told me, he said, I don't think you're going to need all that. He said, I really just don't think you should do anything that drastic. And I'm thinking, well, you don't know, because it's not you. But as I think back on it, I called my provider and I let her know that I had changed my mind. When I got to the hospital, she had to do another mammogram, so we did another mammogram. And the radiologist come out and he said, you responded really well to chemo. And I was like, oh, okay. Because at that time, in my mind, I'm just ready to get this over with. So once we did that, come out of surgery, I'm thinking, I'm ready to stay at the hospital for the night. And the nurse come in and she said, well, whenever you get up to move around and use the restroom, you can go home. And I was like, how am I supposed to go home with all these tubes? Because that's what she told me, I would have tubes. She said, you don't have a tube? She said, well, let me go get the doctor. So the doctor come back in. She said, no, we didn't have to do all that. You just have 2 Band-Aids. She said, you have one up on your arm and one right there on your left side of your breath. I said, 2 Band-Aids? That's it? She was like, that's all. She said, I'll see you Monday. So I got home. I went home that day. I went back to see her Monday, and I was just, nervous about what, because she was like, we have to see what the pathologists come back to see if they found any residual cancer. She said, and that way we can set the stage and everything. So I went in to get my results and everything, and she was talking and looking at me and everything. But she never did say what stage I was in. So I asked her, I said, so what stage am I in? And she said, you know what? She said, they didn't find anything. She said, they didn't even find the clip that I had put in to see, let me know where everything was at. They found nothing. She said, so that's a stage 0. And my mom was with me. So we got ready to leave out, and the lady up front, she said, as long as I've been working here, we've never had a patient that come back from surgery that they didn't find anything. Anything. My mama looked at the lady and said, because we know a man. So that right there, you just have to pray about it and give it to him. And that's basically my story.